A very good morning to my dear students. I hope that you are doing well and keeping safe at your homes. Anyway, welcome back to 8th grade English class. In the last class, we had discussed and completed the 5th chapter from your workbook. So, today we are actually planning to go with the last chapter, remaining one chapter, 6th chapter from your workbook, social equality. So, the main grammatical item which is included in this chapter is actually gerunds. Okay. So, I hope that you have a clear cut idea about gerunds, because the same thing which we discussed and discussed in a very detailed manner when we took the 6th chapter from your course book. So, what do you mean by gerunds? Yeah, the present participle form, present participle form of the verb can be said as gerunds when it is used as a noun in a sentence. Okay. So, yeah, what do you mean by present participle form? The ing form of verbs are known as present participle forms. So, gerunds can be said as present participle verbs are examples of gerunds when they are used as nouns in sentences. Okay. So, this is what do you mean by gerunds. Okay. And look at the examples given in page number 66. Fetching clean water from the Thakur's well was Gangi's decision. The game I am the boss today involved obeying instructions. Okay. So, we can write those two examples here on the blackboard. So, let me to write the first example. Please listen. Fetching or taking or collecting. Fetching clean water from the Thakur's well, yes, was Gangi's decision. Okay. Okay, look at this example. Fetching clean water from Thakur's well was Gangi's decision. Here, look at this word fetching. Fetching is actually the past participle form of what? Form of the verb, yeah, fetch. By adding ing to that of fetching, we get the past participle as fetching. Okay. So, but here look at this example, it is not used here as a participle, present participle. It is, even though it is in the present participle form, it is used here as the noun in the sentence. When a present participle is used as a noun in the sentence, it can be said as an example of a gerund. Okay. So, I hope that you got the idea. Okay. So, similarly, the game I am the boss today involved obeying instructions. Okay. Obeying again is in present participle form, and but there it is used as a noun sense, in a noun sense. So, it can be said as an example of gerund. So, I hope that you got an idea about what gerund is. Now, we can go to discuss the usages of gerunds. Okay. That also we discussed in a very detailed manner. Yeah, while we were actually going with the 6th unit from your course book. Anyway, all these things are again repeating just to enhance your knowledge, especially because the grammar is a very important area. So, you should need to be very thorough with these areas. So, that is what I am repeating it again and again. Okay. So, gerunds, then its usages as mentioned in the workbook. Okay. So, the first one is actually a gerund can be the subject of a sentence. A gerund can be the subject of a sentence. So, this is the first usage. A gerund can be, a gerund can be the, so we are actually going to discuss usages of gerunds, its usages. So, the first usage of gerunds is, it can be used as subject of a sentence. Okay. Now, we can go to discuss an example. See, look at the example. Watching TV is my favorite pastime. Look at this example. Watching TV is my favorite pastime. Here, watching is a gerund because it is used in its present participle form and it is used as a subject. So, here this present participle, here this gerund is, what do you mean by gerund? A present participle verb in its noun form is known as, when a present participle is used in a noun form, it is known as gerund, and here this particular gerund is used as a subject of a sentence, subject of this sentence. Watching TV is my favorite pastime. Okay, watching TV is my favorite pastime is actually a sentence here. Okay, and watching is actually the subject, watching TV is actually the subject, is actually the verb. Okay, is my favorite pastime. Okay, so here in this particular sentence, watching, the gerund is used as the subject of this sentence. Okay, so that is actually the first usage. Gerunds can sometimes be used as subject of a sentence. I hope that you got an idea. Okay, then we can go to discuss the second example. Look at this example. Writing in English is difficult. Okay, writing in English is difficult. So, writing in English is difficult. So, writing, this is actually the gerund used here, ing form of the verb. So, this gerund is used here as a subject in this particular sentence. Writing English is actually the subject. So, this gerund here is used as the subject of this sentence. So, in that way we can summarize that gerunds can sometimes be used as a subject in a sentence. I hope that you got an idea. Now, we can go to discuss the second use of gerunds. Okay, what is actually the second use of gerund? Yeah, gerund can be used as a subject complement. Gerund can be used as a subject complement. Okay. Now, look at this example. My cat's favorite pastime is sleeping. Okay, so the second usage is actually it can be used as a subject complement. So, look at the example. My cat's favorite pastime is sleeping. Okay. So, look at find out the gerund used here. Gerund is actually sleeping. Sleep, its ing form sleeping. So, sleeping is actually the gerund used here. And this gerund is used as a subject complement. So, for that you have to know what a complement is. I explained it in the last class when we took the same topic from course book. Then what do you mean by a complement? So, look at this example. My cat's favorite pastime is sleeping. So, it can be said as actually a clause also. So in a sentence, what is the difference between a sentence and a clause? In a clause, there is only there is the need of a subject and a verb. But if it should be a sentence, there should be a subject, verb and object and all those things. So here sleeping is actually gerund and it is actually used as a subject complement. It is used as a subject complement. Then we can go to discuss what a complement is. Listen, pastime is sleeping. It is actually an example of a clause. Pastime is sleeping. And take this word sleeping. This is actually means a complement is actually a part of a clause followed by the verb is and gives additional information about the subject. So it gives additional information about the subject. In that way, it can be said as a complement. And sometimes the complement is a subject complement and sometimes it is an object complement. When it gives additional information about the subject, it is known as subject complement, and when it is gives additional information about the object, it can be said as an example of object complement, not objective, object complement. So here the sleeping is actually used as a complement, used as a subject complement. That means here it is used to give some additional information about the subject. So it can be said as a subject complement. So sleeping is actually written as a gerund, and this gerund is used here to give extra information about the subject. So in that way it can be said as a subject complement. Complement, I already said that a part of a clause after the verb which gives additional information about the subject. So here sleeping is primarily it is used as a gerund because it is actually the present participle form having a noun sense, and it is actually used here as a complement because it is actually a part of a clause after the verb which gives additional information about the subject. So that we can call it as a subject complement. So the point is, in that way gerund can be used as a subject complement in a sentence. Okay, I hope that you got an idea about this. Okay, then we can go to discuss one more example. One of his duties is doing homeworks. Okay, one of his duties is doing homeworks. See, look at this word doing. Doing is actually present participle form and it is used here in the noun sense. So we can say that it is an example of gerund. And one of his duties is doing homework. So here it is actually a part of a clause. His duties is doing homework. So this is actually a part of a clause and following after the verb which gives additional information about the subject. Here doing what? His duties. So it gives additional information about the subject. So we can undoubtedly say that this doing, that means this gerund here is used as a subject complement. So this is actually the point. Okay, so now we can go to discuss the third use of gerunds. What is the third use of gerunds? A gerund can be substituted. A gerund can be substituted with pronouns. A gerund can be substituted with pronouns. Okay. Look at this example. Nihal likes cycling. Nihal likes cycling. Nihal likes cycling. I don't like it. Very simple example. Nihal likes cycling. Yeah. Russell doesn't like it. And this pronoun is used for substituting the gerund here. Cycling is gerund. Cycling is the ing form and it is used in a noun sense. So, it is an example of a gerund, and this gerund is here replaced with it, the pronoun it in the second part of this sentence. Okay. Normally when we use pronoun, normally we use pronoun, to speak about noun, but here in some situations we can use pronouns in order to substitute what? In order to substitute gerunds also. Okay. So, that is this is an example. Nihal likes cycling, but here Russell doesn't like it. That means Russell doesn't like what? Cycling. So, it is used here to replace this gerund. So, this is the third use of gerund. Okay. So, these are the things you have to know with regard to this chapter. Anyway, we can go with doing the other exercises. Okay. So, for that you please take page number 67. So, now please listen, I forgot to spot one more usage of gerunds. So, the third one, what is the third one? The third one is actually a gerund can be of the object of a preposition. So, a gerund can also be used as the object of a preposition. So, it can also be used as an object of a preposition. Okay. So, this we can discuss by giving examples. So, look at the example given in the workbook. Salil insisted on swimming in the cold water. So, there swimming is actually a gerund, and that particular gerund is used as the object of a preposition. On swimming. Salil insisted what? Salil insisted on swimming in the cold water. So, on swimming where? In the cold water. So, it is an example of the object of a preposition. Okay. So, likewise gerunds can be used as object of a preposition. Now, look at this sentence. We shall be interested in hearing your comments. Okay, we shall be interested in hearing your comments. Look at this example. So, here it is said that gerunds can sometimes be used as object of a preposition. So, in order to know this example, or in order to know the usage of gerunds here in this example, you have to know what an object of a preposition is. What an object of a preposition is? The object of a preposition is a noun or a pronoun that comes after a preposition. Okay, you got it? A noun or a pronoun that comes after a preposition. See, what is a gerund used here? Hearing is a gerund used here. Did you get me? Hearing is a gerund used here, and it is actually the present participle form of the verb here. And then why we consider it as a gerund here in this sentence? Because even though it is present participle form, yeah, it has it is used as a noun. Okay, so a present participle used in a noun sense is known as gerund. So now come back to this definition. A noun or a pronoun that comes after a preposition is known as object of a preposition. Now look at this gerund. This is actually a noun. So a noun or a pronoun that comes after a preposition. So this is a noun that comes after the preposition in. So we can say that this gerund is used here as an object of a preposition. I hope that you got the idea. So now we can go to discuss one more example. Okay, look at this example. Would you like to walk instead of taking the bus? Okay, so here also gerund is used as an object of a preposition. See, what is the gerund used here? Taking is the gerund used here, and taking is used as the object of the preposition of. So taking is used as the object of the preposition of. That means, yeah, what do you mean by an object of a preposition? A noun or a pronoun that comes after a preposition. So here taking is actually a noun. Yeah, that is what we call it as gerund. It is, even though it is a present participle form, it is used as a noun here. So a noun or a pronoun that comes after a preposition is known as object of a preposition. So this is actually a noun. It comes after a preposition called of. So we can say that it is an object of a preposition of. So we can say that here the gerund taking can be an example of an object of a preposition here. Okay. In the first sentence, what was the first sentence? We shall be interested in hearing your comments. So there hearing was the gerund, and that gerund was the object of the preposition. Object of which preposition? Object of the preposition in. So there, yeah, the gerund hearing was the object of the preposition in, and here in this example the gerund taking is the object of the preposition of. So now I hope that you got a clear idea about gerunds as objects of prepositions. Okay, so let me to summarize the points. Gerund is actually the ing form, the present participle form of verbs. When it is used in a noun sense in sentences, it can be an example of a gerund. Okay, then a gerund can be a subject of a sentence, then a gerund can be a subject complement, then a gerund can be, yeah, a object of a preposition, and then gerund can be substituted with a pronoun. So these are the things you have to get familiar with. Okay, so now we can go to discuss the other exercises. Take page number 67. Here we are going to discuss the remaining exercises. Here are some items of advice from doctors on World Heart Day, but the words and phrases in the items are mixed up. Reorder them correctly and write out the sentences. So here are some advice from doctors, especially on World Heart Day. but these these advices are actually not in the correct order. So, you have to make it in the correct order. Look at the first one. Heart is good, stress free for your then living. How the sentence will be? Yeah, stress free living is good for your health. For your heart. Stress free living is good for your heart. Then how the second sentence will be? Sitting may lead for long hours to heart diseases. Yeah, sitting for long hours may lead to heart disease. So, in that way you have to complete the remaining sentences also. Then look at the next one, take page number 68. Fill in the blanks in the sentences below with the right ing form of these words, these verbs. Okay. So, here you will have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 verbs are there in the box. So, you have to make the gerund forms by adding ing. Park, parking, read, reading, oil, oiling, watch, watching, exercise, exercising, clean, cleaning, talk, talking, play, playing, rebuild, rebuilding. And after this you have to complete the remaining 8 sentences. Look at the first one. According to doctors, that is good for health. What is? Exercising is good for health, and exercising is used in a noun sense. So, it can be an example of a gerund. Then what about the second example? Elania loves reading more than playing. There also reading and playing are used used as gerunds. So, in that way you have to complete the remaining sentences also. Then we have one more grammatical item, future continuous. So, this also we discussed in the last class, future continuous. What do you mean by future continuous? Yeah, future, first of all you have to know about the structure of future continuous. Okay, yeah, subject, then shall or will, then plus be plus main verb plus ing plus object. Okay, so this is actually the structure for future continuous. Subject is there, shall or will is there, be is there, main verb is there, ing form is there, then object is there. Look at the example given here on your in your textbook. I will be watching the hockey match on TV. I will be matching the hockey. I will be watching. I will be watching. I will be watching the hockey match. Then on TV. Look at the example. I is a subject. Then we have the will form, then be form, then main verb watching, then ing form, then the object. Okay. On TV is the object. So, this is actually the structure for future continuous. Okay, and we use future continuous in order to say something will be happening at a particular point of time in the future, or we will be in the middle of doing something. That is the exact explanation. So, we use future continuous in order to say that we will be in the middle of doing something in a future period. That means I will be I will be going for a movie this afternoon. So, this afternoon I will be in the middle of watching a movie. Okay, so for that reason we can use future continuous. Okay, so future continuous is used to say that we will be in the middle of doing something in a future period. Okay, then the other thing. So the first usage of future continuous is to say that, yeah, we will say that we will be in the middle of doing something in a future period. That is the first one. Then the second one is, yeah, future continuous can be used to express plans or decisions. Okay, plans or decisions. So it can be used to express plans or decisions. Look at the example. I will be going to the supermarket this afternoon. So what is, okay, so look at this example. I will be going to the supermarket this afternoon. So here it is used as a plan or a decision. So the speaker, yeah, doesn't go or doesn't, the speaker doesn't go, but he is intending to go. That means, yeah, here I will be going to the supermarket this afternoon means the action is yet to be done. So it is used there. So here future continuous is used and it is used there to express his plan or decision. Okay. So turn over page, the next page, and take page number 69 and read the first one. We often use will, then be form, then main verb plus ing to ask about people's plans, especially when we want something or want someone to do something. So this format can be used to ask somebody's plans, and at the same time this format can be used to ask somebody to do something for us. Okay, so we can go to discuss that particular context with the help of some examples. See, look at the example. Will you be using your atlas today? Atlas today. Will you be using your atlas today? So it is actually, we are actually asking somebody's plan or somebody's decision. So we, for that we use will, then you is there, then be plus main verb and its ing form. So that is what here it is said that we often use will, you plus be plus ing, will, you plus be plus ing form of the main verb in order to ask about somebody's plan. So here we are actually asking about somebody's plan. Will you be using your atlas today? If you are not using it, can you please give it to me? Okay, so this is actually, so in that way future continuous can be used in this format in order to ask somebody's plan. And at the same time, it can also be used when we want something or want someone to do something, and the same format can be used when we want somebody to do something or when we want something to do something. At those occasions also this can be used, that we can actually do with one example. So look at the first example given in your workbook. Yeah, will you be taking me to Prema's birthday party this evening? Okay, see here also will, you, be, main verb plus ing format is used, and this is used, yeah, when that particular person or when that speaker wanted someone to do something for him. Actually, the speaker wanted the other person to take her to somewhere else. So, in such occasions also we can use what? We can use will plus u plus be plus main verb plus ing, that is future continuous. To, yeah, this can be used when we actually want something to do something, or when we actually want somebody to do something for us. Here the speaker actually wanted the other person to do a favor for him or her. What is actually the favor? Yeah, he wanted to be taken to where? To Prema's birthday party. Okay, so in such occasions also we can use future continuous. Okay, so the next exercise is that you want to ask your elder sister to do several things for you. So when we actually want someone to do something for us, we can use future continuous, but the format is different. You have to use this format: will plus u plus be plus main verb plus ing. So find out if she can help you by asking her questions. Use the verbs given in brackets. The first one has been done for you. The first one we already discussed. So likewise, look at the second one. You want to read her new comic book now. So imagine that Ilham, Vaishnavi has a new comic book with her, and Ilham came to know that Vaishnavi has a new comic book. So Ilham wants to read that particular book. So for that, Ilham is actually asking her plan. Yeah, whether Vaishnavi is reading that book right now. If not, yeah, Ilham wanted to take that book for reading. So in what way we have to express we have to ask her plan. Yeah, will you be reading your new comic book now? Will you be reading your new comic book now? So will you be reading? Will plus u plus be plus main verb plus ing. So there is actually the correct format. So will you be reading? Yeah, will you be reading your comic book now? Okay, so in that way you have to complete the remaining exercises also. Now take page, next page, page number 70. Give one word for each of the definition. The first letter of each word is given. A ruler with unrestricted authority. So this is actually the definition. So you have to write down the one word substitution for the definition. So a ruler with unrestricted authority. The first word for that particular word is, the first letter for that particular word is D. So a ruler with unrestricted authority is known as dictator. Then a person who is extremely intelligent, the first word is G. Yeah, genius person. So similarly you have to complete the remaining things also. Then look at the next one. Strike out the incorrect words from those given in the brackets. So here you will have 5 sentences, and you have to spot which are the incorrect words given in the bracket. Look at the first one. Shravasi's presentation at the conference was so good that she received many, either it is compliments or compliments, either the first one or the second one. The first one is the incorrect one, the second one is the correct one, first one is the incorrect one. So we are asked to note the incorrect one. So you can mark the first one. Look at the second one. The train collided with a stationary engine. Yeah, stationary is the right one there. The train collided with a stationary means the second one is the right one, but we are asked to note the incorrect one. Incorrect one is stationary, the first one. Stationary means some items. So the first one is actually the incorrect one here. So similarly you have to mark the remaining incorrect ones also. Then look at the next one. Complete the following. Running is to an athlete as rowing is to a sailor. So all these are actually examples of gerunds. So likewise you have to complete the remaining sentences also. Chewing is to food. Yeah, we used to chew food. Likewise sipping is related with what? Sipping something, drink. So chewing is to food as sipping is to drink. Then sowing is to seeds. We used to sow seeds. So likewise watering is, yeah, we used to water what? Plants. Yeah, sowing is to seeds as watering is to plants. So similarly you have to complete the other sentences also. Then select suitable idiomatic expressions from the box to fill in the blank. So here leave a mark at ease, stretch our legs, in spirit, at arm's length. These are all examples of idiomatic expressions. Idiomatic expressions means something like proverbs or something like that. It has leave a mark. It has another meaning. So you have to use all these idiomatic expressions from the box and you have to complete the remaining sentences. Look at the first one. Although I won't be present at your graduation, I will be with you in spirit. Yeah, I am not able to participate in the degree awarding function, but my mind will be with you. So how we can present that? I will be with you in spirit. Yeah, in mind, in spirit. So it was good to get out of the car and stretch our legs is the right one. See, the speaker has been traveling or has been traveling for some hours. So the speaker actually wanted to take a relaxation. So he for that he is saying that it is good to get out of the car and stretch our legs. Stretch our legs. Yeah, taking a relaxation. So in that way stretch our legs will be suitable. So similarly you have to complete the remaining sentences also. Then you will have a writing practice. So you have to read the passage and you are requested to answer the questions that follow. Which words are very often repeated? If you read this passage, we can find that thank you is the word which is repeated throughout the entire passage. So in that way you have to complete the remaining questions also. Then write a letter to the secretary of your en bloc residence association telling him or her about a problem you have and asking for her helping in solving it. So this is actually a formal letter. So you will have given some hints. So using these hints you are requested to write a formal letter to the secretary of your residence association about a particular problem you are facing. Okay. Then the next one is also a letter. A number of letters have been written to the editor of a newspaper on the excessive use of pesticides by farmers. So many people have sent many letters to the editor of a newspaper expressing the excessive, the unlimited use of pesticides by farmers. And after that an angry farmer reacts to these reports. Decided to write one more letter to the editor of that newspaper. So and the hints for that particular letter even here, by expanding these hints you have to write the farmer's letter to the editor of a newspaper. Okay. So the letter to the editor is also a formal letter, but you will have to be familiar with the format of letter to the editor. Everything should be on the margin side, then from, and then from, then date. Date should be like this format, 8th February 2021. Then to address, no need to write subject, then salutation, then content, then subscription. Okay. And you don't need to write from here and you don't need to write to here. Instead you can write the from address and you can write the to address, and the date should be in this format and you don't need to write date. You can just write the exact date there. Then after that we don't need to write subject, even though it is included in the formal letter, it is not needed in the letter to the editor, then salutation, sir, then content, then subscription. Subscription means, yeah, yours truly and signature. Okay. Then content should be categorized into, yeah, 3 parts. The first one is actually reason for writing the letter. Reason for writing the letter. Then second one, feelings and arguments. Then third one, suggestions and opinions. Okay, so these are the things you have to include in a letter to the editor. First of all, from address to address, you don't need to write from and to here, and you don't need to write date. Instead, you can write the date here. Then no need to write subject, then salutation, sir. Then content should be categorized into 3 parts. First of all, reason for writing the letter, then feelings and arguments, and then suggestions and opinions. So why you are writing the letter? You have to write that in the first sentence. Then feelings and arguments, your feelings. Yeah, you can say that I am very upset to realize the conditions of farmers. So in that way you can express your feelings, and then arguments, you have to express your arguments also. I strongly of the opinion that excessive use of pesticides will definitely affect them regarding cultivation and all other things. So in that way you can express your arguments. Then suggestions and opinions, what you think as a suggestions and your own opinions to overcome the problem. So in that way you have to bring all these points in the content area. Then the subscription means yours truly. You can use formal subscriptions like yours truly, or yours truthfully, or yours faithfully, and signature and name also you can write here. So in subscription you can write yours truly, or yours truly is the best option, yours truly or yours faithfully, then signature, and after that name. So this is actually the format of writing letter to the editor. By using this format you can prepare a letter to the editor using these hints as drafted by the farmer. Okay. So this is all about today. I think we can wind up at this point because it is more than half an hour. So I hope that you got an idea. I hope that you got everything which we discussed today. Anyway, thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.